would take your calculator again for me for just a minute. And what I would like us to do is I would like us to start back with that very first equation that we put in before. Just the plain absolute value of x. And to help them out, Dalton, where's the absolute value word at again? Do you remember?
Math, number 1.
Math, and then over to number, and then 1. Thank you. And x. And then on the next one, I want you to put the absolute value of x over 3. You could also call that 1/3 x, and you would get the same thing. Okay? X over 3 just is one less keystroke, so we're happy about that. And now I hit graph when you have both of them on there. So the first one that's going to graph for you is going to be this middle one, which is the base function or that parent function. And then the second one is going to have a horizontal stretch. Do you see that? Horizontal stretch we have over here. One thing I want us to notice about these functions, and it's a little bit hard to see on our calculator, so I'm just going to kind of plot a few points in here. But our original graph, the one in the middle, we went over 1, up 1, over 1, up 1, over 1, up 1. What was the slope on that graph if it goes over 1, up 1, all the way up? 1. It was 1. 1 over 1, right? On our next graph, the new one, we went up 1 and over 3. Up 1 over 3, up 1 over 3, up 1 over 3. Where do you see that slope number on your graph or on your equation?
Bottom.
It's the bottom of this, and then what number is always assumed to be on the top if there's not a number there? 1. So that's just saying, like, now we've really done, what we've really done here is just change the slope of the line that's going up. So instead of being a 1-to-1 equation, we've stretched it out, now it's a 1-to-3. The rise is 1 and the run is 3. What do you think is going to happen then if this is going to give me my slope? Now if my slope is 2 over 1, instead of going up 1 over 3, I'm going to go up, how many? 2 and over 1. So I'm thinking that if I go up 2 and over 1, I'm going to have a dot somewhere in here, and up 2 more and over 1 more. What's going to happen? My new graph is going to be what? More narrow, we look like, somewhere, you know, that kind of a ballpark. So let's go ahead back to our y equals, and all the way down, and put in that third graph. So you can put the 2 out front, and then go math, number, absolute value, x, and our parentheses, remember? Always ending our parentheses. And, oh, look at that. You guys are so smart. It really did look like it's going in. And it almost looks like the sunrise out there that we got going with all the little rays popping out. It's beautiful. So here we made the slope 2 over 1. This was our regular base equation in the middle. And then our bottom one was the slope that was 1 over 3. So by putting this number either out front, because this could have been 1/3 x, or as a fraction, so here the 3 is on the bottom, here it's just on the top. All we're really doing is changing the stretch or the slope, if you will, of our absolute value functions. And you could even put a number out front and underneath. All that does is give you the slope of 2 over 3. So it's going to go up 2, and then it's going to run over 3. So instead of having like a 1/3 or a 2 over 1, this one's just going to be 2/3. Questions so far about our absolute value functions? Yes, ma'am.
Neither one of my calculators have it.
You don't have your absolute value button? Do you have one from school?
Yeah, and then
Okay.
I have my own. And I don't know.
Alright, bring me your one from school, because I don't know how your own works. And we already talked a little bit about reflecting. It's this very first thing. Okay. You don't do something like that. And math, and order numbers, and okay. So we can reflect it across the x-axis. And we already talked about it having a horizontal or a vertical shift, but we're gonna go ahead and put that up there just as a reminder for a second. Then when we started with our parent function, now we can not only move it left and right, but we could reflect it, or we could change the slope of our lines as they're coming up. So there's a lot of stuff now that we can do with those same graphs. Questions that you have right now? Alright, I'm going to leave that up there for a second so you have a chance to write it down. And then we're going to practice a couple fun things with some poker chips. So as you finish writing it down, I need you to line your desks up so that they make